We are back in session. The next item on the agenda is item C. That's Councilor Benton, R-40. Councilor Benton.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move a due pass on R40. This is establishing city policy for the implementation of downtown walkability improvements, repealing and replacing R15-152, enactment R 2015-24.
We have a motion and a second.
And councilors, we do have an amendment, and I think there's a fresh copy of that amendment, which is really the attachment, the exhibit of the downtown walkability projects. This council, as I mentioned to the gentleman who was speaking earlier, this council passed a couple of important pieces of legislation a couple of years back, including this downtown walkability analysis that was done by Jeff Speck and was actually initiated by Roxanna Myers, who preceded me in the District 2 seat. But all this is really doing is updating that policy and updating the council and the city's support for that policy downtown, and also updating this list because some things have been completed, other things, factors have changed that warranted in an update to the walkability analysis exhibit 2. So that's really what it's mostly about, and then just reaffirming our support for that policy.
So do you want to move that amendment?
I'll move that amendment. That would be amendment number 1 to R40.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilor Borrego for amendment number 1 to R-18-40. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes, those opposed. That carries. We're back on the bill.
And yeah, appreciate the administration working with us on this. You know, I think we had some miscommunications early on, but everybody's on the same page. We also appreciate the meetings with DMD, and Ms. Morris can explain any of the changes if anybody wants them, but she's been kind of our point person working with DMD and making clear that we're all on the same page as where we're going with the.
Let's go to public comments. There's 3 individuals that are signed up to speak, then you can make some remarks. Tad Naminsky, followed by Jen Panhorst, followed by Joe Gallegos.
My name is Tad Naminsky. I'm just wondering how many millions I was observing downtown area, for example, Broadway, between Central and Lomas. How many, every year something's been going on. How many million being spent to this area? I'm just sick and tired of walkability, taking away lanes from drivers. I can now, anything, bicycle, walkers. Yes, you needed walkways. You needed stripes to last 5-10 years, at least, reflecting. And you're doing it over and over every year, Council Benton. And now, what got my attention here, current redevelopment efforts such as innovated ABQ, rapid transit, and rail yard, etc., etc. Well, are those money you diverting to Central Avenue, Arton Central? Yes, you all cheap it. You all founded the money. We founded money. Take it away. Just, that's what is it? Like diverting money, money laundering. Yes. And who does that? You are legislators. You are elected for the people. And you should care for the drivers too. Thank you.
Thank you. Jen Panhorst. And the last speaker will be Joe Gagos. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm a downtown resident, and I'm also a member of Vision Zero ABQ. We're concerned about any kind of fatalities that are occurring due to crashes, particularly pedestrian and cyclist. And I just wanted to voice my support for 1840, particularly Section 3, regarding immediately reinstating the four-way stops at 4th and Roma and 5th and Roma. In May, I was hit by a car at 4th and Roma approximately 1 week after the lights were put back in place and the four-way stops had been taken away. I'm a daily commuter on my bicycle to work, and I really believe that the crash would not have occurred had the four-way stop still been in place. When I was on my ride home today, I saw two cars at 4th and Roma do basically the exact same thing that led to the crash that I was in. And we have some other folks here from Vision Zero who weren't necessarily able to get onto the agenda tonight, but we have strong support for things like the walkability study. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Last speaker on this agenda item is Joe Gagos. Welcome.
Evening. So I just kind of want to echo what Jen has already said. I'm also a downtown resident and a cyclist and commuter. And yeah, I'm just deeply concerned about the lack of infrastructure for pedestrians and for cyclists, not only in downtown, but in the city as a whole. Yeah, and so I mean, I guess I just wanted to express my support for 1840. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Did staff want to make a couple of comments?
Mr. President, thank you. So probably just in summary, Councillor Benson covered the vast majority of the details of 1840, but the real focus of this is the revisions to Exhibit 2. These reflect the review and discussion with both the Department of Municipal Development and Transit, and all of these priorities focus on ped and bicycle improvements as well as vehicular improvements, and so the focus is on narrowing travel lanes, the provision of on-street parking. Parking is very important to local businesses, as well as it's a great buffer to pedestrians, and improving pedestrian crossings at intersections, and the provision, of course, of bicycle facilities downtown. So that's a quick summary.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from this council? Seeing none, Councillor Benton to close.
Again, I urge your support, and I appreciate the council's support for these efforts in the past. It was mentioned about downtown maybe getting too much, but over the years, downtown has kind of languished in terms of modernizing its facilities, and this sets a course towards in a very clear way, trying to bring them up to date. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve R-40 as amended. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed say no. That carries unanimously. We are now under item D. Councillor Jones, R-41.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our 1841 is creating a task force to explore the options and make recommendations for before and after school and summer programs for youth, which are to be funded by the city of Albuquerque. There was a $954,600 went into the city's Department of Family and Community Services, Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services for a variety of before and after school summer programs in this last budget. What this task force would be tasked with doing is exploring options to increase the impact of programs that are known or have been proven to be effective, and to prepare a list of recommendations for before, after, and summer programs by no later than December 1st, 2018, and present that list and recommendations to the City Council and to the Mayor. Now, this will be made up of citizens, 8 citizens appointed by the Council and the Mayor, and it's just an independent look at what we're doing see which programs are working best, which ones perhaps we would like to try something new and innovative. But this will be a citizen commission. So I make a motion to approve R 1841.
We have a motion and a second by Council Vice President Harris. Is there anyone signed up for public comment? Seeing none, are there any questions from this council? Councilor Borrego.
I had a question from the administration. It seems that when we discussed this bill in the past, it seemed like the administration was already doing this, and I just wondered what your comments were, Ms. Nair.
Ms. Nair?
Thank you, Council President Sanchez, Councilor Borrego. We are, and before the break, we gave Council a memo that outlined the plans for the summer, and in September, we'll have a full report on the results of the summer programming, but for now, I can give you some interim results. Registration was up by over 1,000 people. Attendance just in the family and community service programs were up by 9,500 people just in the first 7 weeks. There were 525 new slots open just in the family community service programs alone. Swimming, for example, was up 18%. That's out of parks. And in addition, we were able to accomplish a 38% increase in staff. So to our earlier conversation about needing those entry-level jobs for some of our young people, keep them busy during the summer, we were also able to accomplish that. So in September, the sort of full report on the full summer, which is still in progress from those 3 departments that Councilor Jones mentioned, will be available. And the fall guide for what's available in the fall is already online. It's also been blasted out through the Albuquerque Public Schools and other venues. Excuse me. And we have Director Pierce and Director Sanchez here if you have questions for them. But the progress has been great so far. There's been a huge response from the community. Everybody's been sort of really appreciative, and we're just going to keep on trucking.
So my question, Councilor, I guess, and with all due respect to Councilor Jones, I mean, how does this affect, I mean, you're coming to us in September, and we're creating a program or a body, I guess, to review this. I mean, is it going to mesh, or is this something that is going to work together, or?
Is that a question of me? Did you address me?
Whoever wants to answer it, I
Okay.
guess.
Well, actually,
Councilor Jones?
what we're talking about here is summer programs, and this is taking a look at summer and after school and before school, and it is looking at maybe different ideas, and I have no doubt that the summer programs are doing absolutely wonderfully. Can we do better? I don't know. Let's take a look and see. This is a citizen committee. We believe our citizens should be involved in this type of thing. I see no way that it can do any harm. And I do believe they might have some insight into something that's needed more in the community than something we're doing, or maybe we would expand something that's wonderful that's already there. But it's their input. And I believe that's an important thing with this because it's their children. It's the people of our community's children.
Council President Sanchez, Councilor Borrego, I mean, we're always happy to take citizen input. We did involve a lot of input in expanding the program so far. When we come back for more money next year, we would love to have that input so we can expand the programs even further to get to our goal of doubling the slots available for our children.
So, Councilor Jones, just so because I didn't get a chance to talk to you before, the 9-member task force, are the citizens from each district?
No, ma'am. These are different areas of the city. There's, if you'll read it, the write-up, it's 1 city staff member from the mayor's office, 1 city staff member from the city council services. We have a staff from family and community services, parks and rec, police department, public schools, 1 member from the youth advisory council, and 1 member from a community action group focused on youth. This is not district specific. This is city specific. I hope that answered your question.
Thank
Council Vice President Harris.
Thank you, Mr. President. And, you know, I see that having these people assist in making decisions, you know, could be beneficial, but I'm wondering how much it could be duplicative of what the administration is also already doing. So I was wondering if, Ms. Nair, if you could address that.
Ms. Nair?
Council President Sanchez, Councilor Harris, it would be duplicative of a group that we already have going, a youth task force that's involved, so members of the departments that are named in this resolution, as well as folks from the public safety departments participate as well. An example of that would be the Camp Fearless that we put together with the Department of Justice this year that involved a day over at the fire department. So we're already doing a lot of interdepartmental coordination that would be in addition to whatever would come out of this resolution.
Any other questions? Councillor Jones?
In terms of a follow-up, is there a report? I don't know if you have it sounds like it's more of an ad hoc task force, not one that would be more designated and official like this resolution would provide, but is there like a report or something that's going to come out of this group?
Council President Sanchez, Councilor Harris, yes. We provided a memo from this group before the break that we'd be happy to recirculate, because I know everybody kind of goes and then that stuff may fall by the wayside. And then in September, we'll have a report on the results of the summer program, and we can also distribute after the meeting the link to the fall program guide that relates to before and after school programs that are currently open for registration.
Any other questions? Councillor Jones to close.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and I'm sure, Ms. Nair, that you agree that there is no harm in having more eyes and more suggestions on these kinds of programs, because they're so important. It should not affect the budget. This is a volunteer program. Will be staffed by council services. And I think it's something that we as a community want to see more ideas, and maybe someone out there has another idea, and I am not in any way saying that the programs that we have now are not effective, but I am saying there's always nice to have more suggestions and then choose from options. So with that, I would like to move approval.
We have a motion and a second for approval of R-41. All those in favor, raise your hand and say yes. Yes. Those opposed? That carries on a 7-2 vote. We are now under item E, that's R-53. Councillor Jones.
This will be, I'm sorry, Mr. Santer, Councilor President, I thought you were going to do this. So this is a resolution moving some money. So it will take fiscal years, a resolution releases the fiscal year 2019 general fund reserve earmarked for paramedic fighter specialty pay increases. These pay increases will result in an 8% pay differential, regular firefighters and those designated as paramedics. What happened was we designated some money in the budget for paramedic training. That was already taken care of and handled in another area, so this will move it around to make the wages for the paramedics more in line with the other union members.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of R-53 signify by Councillor Harris.
Is the administration good with this?
Council President Sanchez, Councilor Harris, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go back. We have a motion and a second for approval of R-53. All those in favor signify by saying yes. Yes, those opposed say no. That carries unanimously. We are now on the last item on the agenda, item F. Councillor Benton, R-54.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to do pass on R-54.
We have a
This
motion and a
is
second.
supporting the continuation of service on current route of Amtrak Southwest Chief by rail through northern New Mexico on its present route alignment, and with an emphasis that it remain by rail. And I'll just read a couple of the whereases from this. I think it may sound familiar because I've sponsored in the past just kind of general support for the Southwest Chief, because every now and then we get a scare, and this has certainly been one, to the point where our entire federal delegation from New Mexico, including Representative Pierce and Representative Ben Ray Lujan, have both joined the Senate delegation, and our District 1 Representative, Michelle Lujan Grisham, to speak about this and to actually pass an amendment in support of it through the Senate just recently. But what's been going on is the big thing is positive train control. So positive train control is something that's a federal mandate resulting from big accidents, big bad rail accidents back east and in other places. But it's an unfunded mandate that we've got to deal with. The Rail Runner Express and the State Department of Transportation has worked real hard on this, and I appreciate also the work of now Chairperson Gibson of the Transit District, but we've found a funding mechanism for the implementation of positive train control on the entire section of track that is controlled by the state. But that leaves this remaining stretch up north that is very lightly traveled. It's a long story, but at one time the state was in the process of recognizing the importance of Amtrak, was looking at purchasing it, but that was reneged upon by the current state administration. But the implementation of positive train control on the remainder of that track is something that Amtrak doesn't have resources for, or claims to not have resources for. Colfax County stepped up and applied for a Tiger grant and received the Tiger grant to implement it through much of that northern stretch. But now the current Amtrak leadership is backing away from supporting the awarding those funds. So that's kind of where we sit. That same leadership of Amtrak has made a formal proposal that they cancel train service between Trinidad, Colorado and Albuquerque and replace it with a bus. So I would posit that that's going to greatly diminish the appeal of the Southwest Chief, which has been something that's been important to our New Mexico and Albuquerque economy since the late 1880s. So this is really just expressing our formal concern about this as a city, and this is something that we can, our delegation and the city itself can weigh in with Amtrak and with the feds on the issue.
Councilor Gibson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the sponsor truly for this, and particularly since we're just coming back from the break, that you caught this and wrote this resolution. This is really important. I can't overstate how devastating the loss of Amtrak. And I thought it was even farther east than Trinidad, but
that too was under threat. Sorry, Mr. President. That too previously has been under threat, and communities along the way and states along the way of Kansas, Colorado, and New Mexico have been working on this over the years to try to maintain this service.
So even if it was even a smaller portion than Trinidad and through the state of New Mexico, it would still be devastating. We cannot afford to lose this for so many different reasons. The majority of which I think you did a really good job of covering. But I have a question. This is all leading up to a question, and that is, does this get published anywhere where Amtrak, state of New Mexico, people who need to read this will see it? I mean, I kind of feel like sometimes we have these wonderful thoughts that we legislate on and they just kind of go into a drawer. But this is something that needs many, many eyes on. So I'm asking a question, I guess, through our president, but I think that Councilor Benton has an answer.
Mr. President? Yeah, I would just say that's an important question, and how we spread the word on this is important. As we've said, our delegation already has placed its attention on it. But I think what we could do is perhaps if this passes, and I would hope the administration would be supportive of this, we just put this together because it's kind of a quick-moving thing and hadn't really had a chance to talk with the administration during the July break about it, and I was out of town. But that if we were all in agreement on this and we can get it passed, then I would think we could also have President Sanchez, right, we could do some press work around it and
Maybe
and,
the mayor's office?
try to raise it to a higher level.
Councilor Borrego.
I also want to thank the sponsor for this bill. I spoke with him about it because I didn't totally understand it when I first read it. And having grown up in northern New Mexico, this impacts a number of counties. I've actually still have a lot of family that lives up north, and I've offered to work with Councilor Benton to try to help him get the word out on this. So I really, truly believe that this would be a negative, if the train didn't come all the way through to Albuquerque, it would be a really negative impact economically. And I think that it would be devastating for New Mexico. So I totally would like to do anything I can to help.
Did we have anyone signed up from the public to speak on this agenda item? Seeing none, let's go to Councilor Benton to close.
I urge your support.
We have a motion and a second for approval of R-54. All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed? That carries unanimously. And if there is no further business before this council, this meeting is adjourned.